Bitcoin held above the 50-week moving average, which basically means, guys, that we are officially still in a bull market. I'm very optimistic on what's going to come. And in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the institutional interest in specific into altcoins, because there is an institutional interest into altcoins, and I think we are going to see a lot of bullishness coming back to altcoins. So guys, let's jump straight into it. And here we're looking at the website from Grayscale. Grayscale is of course an institutional investor, and let's have a look at their the things that they are investing in. So they are investing, for example, in basic attention token, which is already funny because this token is actually going up. Later I'm going to tell you what all of these tokens have in common, but maybe you are going to be able to guess it as well. Bitcoin Cash Trust, Chainlink, interesting, Decentraland, Ethereum Classic, Filecoin, Horizon, I actually don't know. We have Litecoin, LivePeer, Near, Stacks, Stellar Lumens, and Zcash. Well, guys, spoiler alert, a lot of these single asset trusts are basically Dino tokens. Basic attention token, guys, maybe some of you don't know it. This is the token from the Brave browser. Was very popular token in 2017. Bitcoin Cash, very popular token in 2017. Chainlink, not so much 2017, but right after 2017, after that bull market, Chainlink actually came in and steal the show. That was, I think, 2019, 2020, if I'm not mistaken. Decentraland, I don't know much about it. Ethereum Classic, definitely a Dino token, was a star in 2017. Filecoin, I like this token, especially how the chart looks, but not really sure whether that's a Dino. Litecoin is of course a Dino. Stellar Lumens is of course one that has been also playing a part in 2017, and of course Zcash, which right now is completely stealing the show of this current bull market. Guys, these are one of the things that I've been saying for the past couple of weeks and months, and that is that these Dino tokens, or these old fundamental tokens, so old is crypto, not really, but they will make a comeback, and they will become probably very, very valuable, although it's difficult to recognize that right now, because there were times where these tokens, you know, the emotional feeling you have with these tokens right now is probably like they are a little bit cheaper, right? They don't feel as valuable as, for example, a Bitcoin, or maybe an XRP. XRP is the best example. When XRP was at 40 cents, you feel that the general sentiment about XRP is like it's dead, it's not that worth so much, you know? And then once it makes this crazy rally up to above $3 US, people change their perspective about XRP. XRP becomes a more valuable asset, and when it then corrects to $2.40, which it does right now, you are more likely to buy because, wow, it corrected that much, right? This process we are going to see with all these other tokens as well. The way that we look at these tokens are going to change. We are going to value them very much. What the narrative is going to be, I'm not really sure about that. There are multiple options, but these tokens are going to go up, guys, because they have been stretched so much to the downside. And one of the most important examples is of course Zcash and Dash, that right now already has seen the breakout, because those tokens already show what is going to happen or what can happen with all the others, while these tokens have not even completed their rally yet. I think Dash, yeah, maybe Zcash, I'm not really sure about this. This one came out of nothing, but Dash has a very clear structure. Dash has been breaking a 7-year resistance, and I believe that Dash at least can reach 900 or 1,000 US dollars. But you also got to imagine what type of world we are going to live in when these cryptocurrency prices are going to reach these type of prices, right? We are going to go into a world that is going to be very, very volatile, and the existing system that we knowing right now will be crushed down, and it will be intentionally crushed down. That's maybe a topic for another video, but everything has to break. In order to introduce a new system, you have to break the old system. So that's what's going to happen, guys. Old systems will break, but while the old system will break, much liquidity will flow to cryptocurrencies. And we are going to see crazy valuations in cryptocurrencies. And this is going to bring opportunities for us to do something, to change our position, to get new experiences, to share all of these things. Whatever you feel you need to do, you want to do in life, you should do that. Right now's the time, because right now we are seeing this shift. And we don't know what's going to happen in the years that are coming afterwards. But yeah, guys, should we should we still have a look at some charts? I can do that. And let's start with Bitcoin, guys. Let's open Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has seen pretty nice rally so far right here. We have been bouncing from the support that I've been mentioning in my previous videos. Let's go to the weekly time frame right here, so we can see a little bit clearer what I mean. This is what I exactly said in my previous videos. Like, if you have this RSI right here, it looked like it was breaking down, right? Some bears might have used this argument, the RSI is breaking down. But what I've said when we were seeing this thing breaking down is there is no close yet. So often at the support you see this thing coming down, but the close is not there yet, right? So the week still has time to get up. It went up. Right now it is exactly holding at the support. And right now it would make so much sense to bounce from these levels. And right here, it also would make so much sense to bounce from these levels, because we did it from here, and of course we can bring the 50-week moving average. Just double check, it's the 50-week moving average, as you can see right here, which is being held by the Bitcoin price. And guys, this is also again what I meant when I was saying, when everything was bearish, when everything was really looking that bad, there will come a time then it will change. And once it changes, it suddenly becomes very clear, like, oh yeah, of course that is going to happen. But it's impossible to see in these bearish, because we are so clouded by the emotional state of the markets. I hope you can understand right now, through these processes that we are going through, that you can see through it, that you actually increase your emotional intelligence through the things that we have seen in the past couple of weeks. Because you got to think like this. Things come down, right? Things come down. Everyone is bearish. You will go on Twitter and you will be bombarded with bearish tweets, because the crazy thing is, guys, the content that gets the most engagement is, of course, the sentiment, the general sentiment of the market. If 70% of the people feel bearish, right, or 60% of the people feel bearish, then to post bearish content the whole time will get more, how do you call it, like views, engagement, right? So you gotta also think like this. I'm not saying that everyone does it, right? I mean, many content creators, they always try to speak their truth, right? Like, let's just assume that most people do that. But you also gotta imagine that the feedback loop that they are getting also probably is more favorable for the sentiment of the market, which is not always, maybe in some instances, not the best way to create content, because you are kind of like fueling this emotional state of the markets, right? So when things are looking bearish, but you actually, we are at the 50-week moving average, you have some support in the relative strength index, you have the def cross coming, a lot of things are actually lining up for some potential upside, right? Yeah. That's just what I think, guys. That's just what I think. But yeah, I don't want to bash on anyone, because I think, let's just assume anyone makes just content for the good because that's what they believe. That's also what it's about. However, I just see a pattern personally when things are looking bearish, and this is the same, for example, with Zcash, right? Like, to be honest, I have never heard anyone. And I'm also looking on YouTube and I'm also on Twitter. I have never seen anyone talking about Zcash, to be honest, like nobody. But once it broke the all-time high, and this explains so much, guys. Once it broke the all-time high, I saw so many tweets of people that they have been calling about Zcash for such a long time. And yeah, how they made so much profit on Zcash and so forth and so forth. Yeah, for me personally, it's all possible, but for me, it's a little bit hard to believe because I've never seen anyone talk about this token before. And then suddenly, when it breaks all-time high, and this is again where the content engagement farming, they also call it, comes into play, because once Zcash breaks the all-time high, it brings in the hype, and when it brings in the hype, it comes into the attention of many market participants. And if you then create content around it, you will get more engagement, which will mean that your account will grow, that you will get more attention, right? So this is kind of how it works a little bit. And that's why sometimes you got to be a little bit careful of that. You got to see a little bit through this thing what's happening. And that's why emotional intelligence is so important, because once you see through that, you are less likely to be manipulated by the emotional state of the markets, because it's probably just a natural phenomena, right? It's probably just a natural phenomena. Because, like, for me, I've been caught in this, and I'm still being caught in these sentiment tricks all the time. But I remember one of the biggest caughts for me was in 2017 when Bitcoin was trading at $20,000 US. Of course, everyone was bullish. People were screaming $100,000 US. I completely believed it, and I made my own, from my own point of view, I just said I'm not gonna sell below $100,000 US. That was for my limited framing, my limited historical experience in the markets, and of course the emotional sentiment of the markets, because it was crazy bullish back then. I was even feeling scared to take profits in fiat just because I thought fiat is going to collapse. And of course, I think fiat will collapse, and I think that is going to be done intentionally, like I've said earlier in this video. But trading, investing is really an emotional game. And when we have, for example, in the last week, where everything comes a little bit down, everyone is super bearish and so forth, if you can then look through this clouded emotional state of the markets and then can hold to some of the charts that actually provide a lot of opportunity, that is actually and you can step over your own emotional state by taking an action against your feeling of fear, so to say. Those actions are the ones, not always, because there are no guarantees in the markets, but those actions are rewarded the most. It's really rewarded the most, guys. It's the moment when nobody dares to do anything, you take the decision to, for example, invest. Everyone wants to wait on the sidelines. They want to wait for safety. They want to wait until the general sentiment is slightly back at, okay, we're back in the bull market, that they enter. That's why, of course, later, once the bounce starts, more people will enter. The higher it goes, more people will enter. Most people enter the markets exactly at the top. That's where we have the most amount of trading volume, exactly at the top of anything. Why does everybody comes at the top? Because at the top they feel confident enough to jump in. Why? Because the sentiment, the emotional clouded sentiment of the market is very confident. And they are influenced by that, and that's why they feel so confident, and that's why they go in. So you actually got to go against it. So when you feel overly confident, there has to be kind of like an alarm bell in your head, like, whoa, I feel really confident right now. Maybe I'm, you are Googling certain things you want to buy with an extreme price tag, right? Which you normally don't really do. So that is maybe a sign that you are extremely confident, right? And when you do these things, it should have a small alarm bell like, whoa, I feel really confident about the markets now. Is that right? Or should I take some chips off the table? And that's maybe a good strategy as well. What I've learned as well over the past couple of years is don't think too black and white, in the sense of like, I'm actually the worst example of this, because I am very much black and white thinker. All in, all out, all in, all out. All out is actually not that much, but all in all the time. But it's better to, on the green days, when you feel confident and when you see the euphoria, or even if it's slight euphoria over online, and you have a coin that made it 2, 3, 4x, take some chips off the table. Even though you think it goes higher, fine. Still take some chips off the table. Why? To protect your own peace of mind and to protect your own financial situation. Like, we don't need to have millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? Of course, it would be nice. I'm not saying it would not be nice. And if the opportunity arises, I mean, why not, right? But, you know, the slow and steady growth of a portfolio, the slow and steady growth of these things is also really important, because easy come, easy go as well. If you throw in, let's say 1,000 and a meme coin and you make like 1 million out of it, then the way you are going to treat that 1 million is in such a way that you are going to probably easily lose it again as well. That's also something that I've learned. So that's why I always say, like, when you have green days, take some chips off the table. And when you have really red days, you know, even though you don't feel like it, then use those chips again to go back in, especially on these crazy Red Sea moments like what we had in the last couple of weeks, where we really were on the edge of a bear market and everyone is really like, okay, wow, like we're on the edge, and then suddenly the majority already tips over to the camp, yeah, we are in a bear market, we are already in a bear market, and we are going to go to these crazy low levels. And not to say that that's still a possibility, right? Like, there are no guarantees in the market. That's so important to say, there are no guarantees in the market. But right now, these bounce is actually looking pretty good, and it had a very good effect personally on me, on my own portfolio. So yeah, guys, that was the message of today's video. I hope you have something about it. Like, for me personally, as long as Bitcoin is trading above the 50-week moving average, right it's doing right now, it shows strength. I'm personally more bullish on altcoins. We have seen the Bitcoin dominance being so long at such a high place. We are in Q4 2025. I think the setups on altcoins, the whole sentiment on altcoins has been crushed in such a way that people really thought about it as worthless pieces of tokens, and that will come back in the future again. But we're first going to see that opposite feeling of worse pieces of tokens into high valuable tokens, right? That people are preferring altcoins in terms of value, in terms of almost fundamental value from their feeling over Bitcoin. This time is going to come, mark my words, and the time will also come again that these tokens will be worthless again. Guys, that was it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a thumbs up, that is very much appreciated. Again, guys, just a reminder, for the ones that are not using a decentralized exchange, but you are trading, try Apex Omni. It's a decentralized exchange of Bybit. They are running an airdrop event right now until the end of December. So everything you do on that exchange, everything you do, like trading, depositing, holding money on the exchange, whatever, will result in generating points. You will get points distributed, and these points at the end of December will be used to make an airdrop. And I personally believe it's going to be a very big airdrop. I'm not really sure because it's not clear what exactly is going to happen. But if we have a look at other successful airdrops, for example, the one from Hyperliquid, that was actually a crazy airdrop. And some people got five figures in terms of the airdrop. Like I said, there's no guarantee. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know there's an airdrop coming. But yeah, if you are trading anyway, right, and you want to try out a decentralized exchange, check out Apex Omni. If you join with the affiliate link down below, you will get a 5% discount on your fees, and you will get 10% extra points, which then will result in a bigger airdrop, basically. Okay, guys, check that out if you're interested. I want to wish every single one of you a beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye-bye.